Welcome to Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view, from the Casablanca studio in Golden, Colorado. Hosted by Art Carlson. At 4'6", liberals fear him, and conservatives love him. He's definitely a giant among men. Now here's your host, Art Carlson.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view. We've got a great show today. Today we're going to be talking about Joe Biden's speech to Congress. It's not the State of the Union address. That's the following year after your first year in office. But this is 100 days into our captivity of us being hostage. So we got to listen to that if you were inclined to listen to it. And then we'll talk about Tim Scott's rebuttal to Joe Biden's speech. Then after that, we're going to talk about the tanking ratings of the Academy Awards show last week. So let's get this ball rolling. Let's bring up my co-host and cohort all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall. And let me unmute you, and that might work. There we go.
Okay. Hi, guys. How's everyone doing? I'm running behind. I had to run in there and I'm trying to do some honeydews today. And I was trying to get my coffee done and doing it all at the same time. And I spent too much time playing around with my drone this weekend and the end of the week. And so I'm having to do some honeydews.
Awesome.
To keep on the good side of the little woman.
That's good. That's good.
You know, so hello, Chris Wedgeworth.
Yeah, Chris. Oh, and let's welcome our tripartite all the way from Syracuse, New York. Let's welcome Mike Roach. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, guys.
Good afternoon. Mike. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Just chilling today. How about you guys?
Good. I'm doing good. Still dealing with allergies. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a foregone conclusion, especially in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Allergy capital of the world.
Yeah, people are here too. It's really green. Everything's bloomed, and the allergy sufferers are getting it. I'm lucky. I've never really had to deal with that yet. Hopefully, it doesn't happen. So
yeah.
But yeah, just a rainy day, chilling here. So.
Yeah, well, it's clouding up, and we're expecting rain later today, and then it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which means it'll rain all week this week, so here in Oklahoma, because comes from Colorado. You guys get rid of it.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So let's get on to our first topic. So what did you think of Biden's speech the other night?
That was a speech?
Did you suffer through it?
Yeah.
I didn't even watch it.
Yeah.
I didn't either. I listened to talk shows talking about it, so that's how I get informed.
Right.
So
I actually did watch it.
Oh, okay. Mike, you tell us.
It was a train wreck. It was just, it was really what he said was nothing new. It was more of the same, spending like crazy, virtue signaling, Kamala, 2 women behind me, this, that, and the other. She hovered over him. And, but the kind of disturbing thing was just the optics of it, looking at the chamber, both sides, Democrat and Republican. And, the place is meant to hold 535?
435.
Well, with the combined.
Yeah, 5. You're right.
535.
Right.
Plus the Supreme Court.
Right.
Plus the Supreme Court, so
And guests in the gallery.
Yes, 600 people.
Right, and there must have been 50 people in the whole place. So they were so staggered out. I mean, ridiculously staggered out, way beyond 6 feet. And I wonder how the Republicans decided who would show up and who wouldn't. Like there were certain people there. There must have been some sort of committee meeting or something, like who's going to be the show people, because they didn't miss anything. And but when the cameras, he wasn't talking, they were like within a foot of each other's face, chit-chatting through their masks and everything, hugging and kissing in the pre-show before the cameras were so-called live, and that whole social distancing by about 10 feet thing is nothing but a stupid show. It's fake.
Yeah. Well, I came to a conclusion about the whole mask situation. The reason they want to keep wearing masks, especially when it comes to the president and vice president stuff, is because Kamala, she's not that good of a ventriloquist, so she can't, talk for him without moving her lips. So she wears a mask and nobody sees that she's talking, She's obviously not Jeff Dunham.
And plus, you don't have to see her stupid smirk and laughing every time he speaks. Yeah.
See, there are advantages to those masks. I just wish hers went a little further up.
Laugh.
God, yeah.
The inappropriate thing. And the mask thing, it's like clearly they're not necessary. And Biden, then he stupidly loses his mask the other day at the podium, and his wife has to. It was in his pocket the whole time. I mean,
hey,
it's like
being an old person, I can respect that.
Right.
I've lost mine a couple times too.
But it's like
but I'm not leader of the free world either. I'm just an old fart in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Yeah, he can't even control his dogs barking.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if he was president of the United States, he could control the whole population. I mean, that's the way I see the masks right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is nothing but a tool of
control,
a muzzle and control. Kind of a Pavlovian teaching tool.
Yeah.
To have us all wear these masks, especially the younger generation who they're growing up on this stuff now. We're gonna do this for 2 years, I think. It's not ending this year, and up will come a whole generation that will know nothing except compliance and obedience to the authorities, and we're being set up for the next emergency, which will require us to obey and comply and whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's really it.
The deal. Both Harris and Pelosi have had their vaccinations, and they're well behind the president. Why are they wearing the frickin' mask?
Right.
I mean, it's so stupid. There's hardly anybody in the room there.
Right. And they would say it's the set example. That would be their stock answer, which is just stupid. I mean, if that's the reason I have not gotten the vaccine yet. One, because I've gotten this far without it, and I'm fine. But it's also because I just am doing a kind of a wait and see on side effects or whatever. I'm not afraid of it. If they would hand out freedom right off the bat, with your vaccine, I'll probably go do it this week. But there's not that much reward at the end of that rainbow yet to make me want to go rush out and get it. It's just
It's free.
Huh?
It's free.
No,
It's free.
He said it's free, but it doesn't necessarily give you freedom just from having it.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's like, what's the reward? The more compliance after you get the shot.
Well, if you want to travel overseas where those countries may require you to be vaccinated, that's
right. But we're getting
that's
into
one
now.
way that I look at it. Plus, if you have underlying conditions, that's another reason why you should take the vaccine, because I have respiratory issues. Lloyd's got MS and respiratory issues.
And I have underlying issues too. I'm a quadriplegic, so
I wouldn't recommend it, because I don't know if you've noticed that Art, he's started having this stuff grow under his chin. I've got this stuff here. Ever since we got the shots, we started getting extra hairy. So I don't know.
Stuff under there that fell off just because.
Maybe if you get the shot, your hair will grow back. I don't know. I mean, look, Art and I both have full head of hair, although mine's some white.
Right.
Well, most.
I do too. I do a boot camp buzz cut. Just about.
Well, I generally do, but I get lazy and
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like really here, and it varies by state, but we're getting to the point now where I'm going to have to decide whether either by not having the shot or just on principle. I've had season tickets to Syracuse University football for 30 some odd years, and I think they're going to require proof of vaccination to get into the Harrier Dome, and I just don't know if I want to go there. Just on principle. Because what's the next thing? All this is, what is the next? There will be a next thing. Now they're telling us there's aliens flying around, and that's making the news. Have you seen that stuff?
Yeah,
I've been seeing snippets of it, but the UFOs have been around, and
But now the government.
I got family that lives in Roswell, New Mexico, so let's not,
Right. But now the government and even like mainstream media is starting to say, what are these things? It's almost like they're setting us up for some big revelation of some sort. Not that I believe they've got some alien.
Like Independence Day.
Right. I mean, it's like there's something hideous about what they're doing. I don't know what it is, but I don't believe there's anything flying around watching us necessarily.
Well,
all they show is a little dot in the screen.
I personally don't think that extraterrestrials are coming here because they're looking for intelligent life.
Right.
All they got to do is see the leader of our country. That's just there's actually, I know from my military background that there are alien spaceships out there, but they put a quarantine around the planet and said this planet's too stupid to belong to the rest of the universe, so they just got a quarantine around us,
Kind of like Talos 4.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's this compliance stuff is getting me with this whole shot thing. So, but yeah, that speech he gave, whatever it was supposed to be, I mean, it was a combination State of the Union and spending spree speech, I guess.
It's laundry list.
Yeah. So you didn't.
We got to stamp out this. What is it? The stigma of racism or something stupid. I'm like, wait a minute. We've got black members of Congress. We had a black president. How can there be systemic racism?
Well, and the first thing that happens is when a conservative black man comes and speaks on the alternate point of view, they start using racist remarks.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They start calling him Uncle Tom.
They call him Uncle Tom, or he's not really black. He's not really down with the struggle.
Yeah. And they get away with it. I mean, they just the sheep who
that's
watch
because
CNN,
the media is in their pocket.
Yeah.
And even there isn't much conservative media to turn to, not in terms of like cable news. Fox is straying off the path a bit, I think, and Newsmax is pretty good, but it's like who do you even believe anymore?
Well,
that's true.
I listen to I have an app on my phone. It's called the Australia Channel, and it's Sky News Australia, and they have a very conservative point of view. And what I like is the way they, how they show how what happens here is affecting them. And how
Right.
they're showing the encroachment of China over there because we don't have anybody with a backbone in office right now that'll stand up,
Right.
to China.
Yeah, thankfully, what is it? Japan, Australia, and is it Taiwan are kind of coming together
Yeah,
as a triad, and we're supposed to be involved in that too. Biden, thankfully, hasn't fully pulled us out of that, but it's an informal arrangement.
yeah. Well, China's got a boycott against shipping goods to Australia
Right
now. So, because of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've decided, that's one of the other effects. Some of the side effects from the shots have been from people who they suspect already had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's causing these really bad side effects.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, look at our friend Ron Lockwood. He
did
the
have it,
COVID,
yeah.
and then
Right.
he went and got the
Shot.
vaccination, and I think it was Pfizer that said the vaccine wouldn't really benefit anybody who's already had the COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. It's a really no disease that a vaccine is any more effective than having recovered from the disease. And
Right.
one of the big things I'm waiting for too is I want to see
Catch
how
it.
effective this thing is in the real world and how long it's effective for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we may end up having to have a booster shot every year.
Yeah. Right, which, cha-ching.
Yeah.
On that,
Well,
you know?
the idea of the booster shots, like back when we were kids, when we had the polio shots, we had to go back for, was it polio I think it was polio.
I think
You had to go
polio.
back and get either a booster shot or the sugar cubes or something. I can't remember. Did that up to a certain point, but by then, you'd built the antibodies and you were protected. But it took more than a single dose,
Yeah.
and it was part of your curriculum to get into school. At least in my age, it was.
Right.
And,
Right, and those things those measles, mumps, rubella, and polio kind of essentially eradicated. You got to show those to get in school, and now
Right.
it looks like a lot of the universities, at least, are kind of making it mandatory to go to college, and it's like, wow, they're moving fast. They're emboldened, and these mandates. It just natural when you feel this pressure to do it, to want to push back
right.
against it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's
Yep.
I just a year ago right now we were here in New York State, and Cuomo had us in like phase 2 or phase 3 of 4 phases, and then by the end of June it was phase 4. Supposedly everything that was that last phase we're going to open up.
Yeah.
And we'll be hitting that in a year soon. And right now we're still at square one essentially, in terms of control. And so I don't trust anything I hear from them anymore, from the federal right down to the state government, unless you get down to Florida or Texas or something.
Yeah.
Well, here, a year ago, back in February, I had to go up to the, and we're talking the second week of February. It had just started really hitting the news, here in the States. I go up to the VA hospital, and they've already got the doors shut down at both ends because we have like 3 entrances into the hospital. They got all the doors but one shut down. You had one way in, one way out. and you had to go through a lineup, have your temperature checked. They were wearing masks. They already had that in place in the first week in February.
Right.
Wow.
That was the government in the VA hospitals. They said, we're practicing for when the COVID gets here. Like, whoa. I thought, why are we practicing? I thought this was well before it wasn't until March that it really started hammering us, but this was
March,
early,
April,
early February, March, April. Yeah, exactly. This was early February, and I'm going, and I even made a comment about it in one of my videos last year. And I'm wondering, okay, how far back, did they really, because they were prepared. The VA hospital was,
Yeah.
and and I think that's it's amazing how, and of course this was under Trump too, but they were ahead of the 8 ball on that. So I don't know what the deal was, but most people haven't mentioned that. They don't realize, and I had to stop and think back, and I had to go back and look. Yeah, it was in first, second week, maybe even the third, as late as the third week in February, but still, they already had all of the protocols set up, because I thought they were doing a survey or something. Well, I've got an appointment. I'm just going to go around, and they were prepared. Greg says they were prepared. They wanted to keep me out. They probably did, I get in trouble up there anyways. I get on my scooter and I could go, there's a hallway up there. I just love to get that scooter wound up and hit it just right and do a nice drift, and it's kind of a slow S, but you hit it and they waxed it. You can slide through it. I get in trouble for that all the time. They threatened to take my scooter from me.
Hey, Greg, thanks for coming.
Hey, Greg. Hey, Chris. And well, it's a different world here in New York State, unfortunately, and we're going into warmer weather now. We're supposedly, at least as of last year, it supposedly died down, and we're all pretty much safe. And but I don't know. I just don't see an end to this. That's what really disturbs me.
Well, moved to Oklahoma because we've dropped almost all of our mask mandates now.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that many in place in the state. And I just went over and saw my son and daughter-in-law Friday, I think. And I was talking, and of course, she's a nurse. She's with the Cherokee Nation. And she was saying that they've had since the mask mandates have gone by the way, and we're allowed to start, gathering outdoors. Anyways, she said there's not been a very large
Big
spike
uptick.
at all.
Yeah.
There's been very little spike. And it's actually starting to finally come down, and it's because we didn't enact. Some of the bigger cities did, and there's still. The restaurant has the choice. You can wear a mask or not, but
Right.
Okay, that's a business. You got a lot of restaurants say you got to wear shoes. Okay.
Right. And that's fine. Wear a mask. I mean, even though it's silly, wear it till you get to your table and then take your mask off. And,
right.
But, if people want to make people feel safer, whatever the motivations are, that's kind of reasonable. But it crosses the line to me when you've got to show your papers to get in. That really, really disturbs me. To cross that Rubicon,
I asked the VA if they would, give me a nice collar with a little dog tag type look, and they said they weren't. No, they said all you get is a stupid piece of paper that doesn't fold up well in your wallet, and and they told me take a picture of it. That way if you lose it, if it gets worse in your wallet or your shot records or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Having been in the military and having to hold on to my shot records, I keep pretty close eye on that stuff.
Yeah.
We had to have mandatory shots everywhere we went.
Right. But you
Here in
sign on
Colorado, we're
in the
still
military.
on a lot of the mandates. We're starting to drop them, but over a month ago, every state around Colorado has been dropping their mask mandates, and so Colorado is like an island in the middle where everybody's got to wear a mask, and now they're saying you don't need to wear a mask outside anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I got news for Biden. I've been not wearing a mask outside for well over a year. I mean,
Yeah.
and most people in my neighborhood's walking their dog or jogging, whatever.
Yeah. I go
Thankfully,
outside.
not wearing masks.
I'm not wearing a mask to take out the trash. I'm not wearing unless it's something I don't want people to see, and that's a different type of mask I put on then, a ski mask, yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I see these people they're jogging or walking their dog, and they're wearing a mask. I'm like, wait a minute, there's nobody around you. I mean, it's not like, one of the places that the virus hates is outdoors. It's not like
So let's all
you're
lock
going to
down.
walk along and all of a sudden, the virus is going to jump up and get you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there it goes. I will defend the mask, though, because I'm noticing that there's a lot of gals, they're wearing their mask, but they're wearing, short shorts and, halter tops, and summer, getting in warm weather here in Oklahoma. And I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't even give them a second look if they didn't have the mask on, because most of them, they're missing half their teeth, and the mask covers up a lot, so it makes the scenery a lot better than it used to be.
Greg just put up a comment there about them having to use a app to get into restaurants and whatnot, and we're they're pushing for that here too in the States, and we already have it here in New York. It's actually up and running. It's up to private businesses themselves whether to get involved in it, but it's step one towards your papers. And again, I get into the whole medical privacy. What business of anybody what my medical records are? I mean, that's think of that step. It's bizarre, and I like seeing. I've watched quite a few Aussies on YouTube with talking politics, and it's amazing how much it seems like there's a lot of pushback down there too against some of the rules.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see.
Yeah, you don't want to show them your papers, and they'll say, "Mr. Roach, it says here your glyceride levels are a little high. Maybe you shouldn't eat that hamburger. How about a tofu burger? And your glucose levels not very good. So how about a Diet Coke?
Yeah.
Actually, a Diet Coke's actually bad for you.
It is.
They are.
Yeah. Any of those diet,
Yeah. But it's, plus it's a Diet Woke. Don't forget that, Art.
The Diet Woke.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't drink Coke anyway, so.
Right. Well, it doesn't allow them to see your records now until the update comes to the app. And, that's what, this is incremental. That's what, once we start going down that slope, the old slippery slope argument, that's what scares me. I just,
well, I don't really, I live in Oklahoma, so what can I say? We carry guns everywhere.
Right.
But we went out to the cabin. We went up the cabin yesterday, and usually I'll wear a very light windbreaker or something when I'm carrying, which is all the time. So when I go in the store, because I'm too fat to stick it down here in front, and I'm too old to reach around back to grab it I carry it on my hip, but I try to keep it covered. Well, we got through with the cabin, and we stopped to get us a soda on the way out of town, or on the way back from the little town up there where our cabin's at. And I looked at it, and they had hunting and fishing, so I thought, I'm just going to wear it. I didn't have a jacket on because it was too warm. It was in the mid 70s yesterday. So I just walked in, and I thought, nobody looked at me. Nobody thought anything about it. Here I've got my 9mm strapped to my side. Nobody said a word. And I go up to check out. The guy comes to wait on me. And I thought, okay, I didn't need to worry. He's got a Liberty USA Second Amendment, hat on. So okay, that's just the way we are. We don't shoot a lot of people. We just
Right, it's not like you're in Chicago or something.
Yeah, no, it's not like Chicago. Yeah. I think their weekly shooting rate is probably higher in one weekend than ours is in the whole state.
Right.
And that's just in one city.
That's another thing that Biden said in his speech the other night was he pointed out, there was a mass shooting the weekend before, and he's like, and since then, between that week and this, 250 more people have died from gun violence. Well, he didn't point out what type of gun violence that was. Mostly already illegal guns, or stolen, whatever. Being used in gangbanger violence, and
and that's it.
Left that part out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We've been lied to for so long by the authorities. I mean, this was supposed to be 2 weeks, and then a couple of months, a little longer. This, that, and the other. I not believe in anything anymore, and I'm going to not comply as much as possible. And
just like they told us all those years that, you brought up the UFO thing. All those years, that was, no, that's a weather balloon. Now all of a sudden we got UFOs.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. That's because the knobhead liberals grew up watching Star Trek and seeing, X-Files, and they actually believe this crap now because it was on X-Files. It must be true.
Mm-hmm.
It does amazing. I mean, nothing against, fantasy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When Trump had his 4th of July thing up at Mount Rushmore last year, they were all go, oh, that's going to be a super spreader. Yeah, they were okay with the protests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no super spreader there. No. The looting was okay.
And the governor is now suing the Biden administration because they're not giving them their permits, even though they have everything in place, and they've done everything that was required, but they don't want them to have that celebration at Mount Rushmore.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just politics,
Yep.
Yeah.
And when it came to the rioting there, Art, like you were saying, they had no problem with that. In fact, the very same doctors who were saying we all have got to social distance and mask and stay home went as far as to say the rioting is okay because it's necessary for the mental health of those people involved. Whether, the word riot and protest just become mixed together. They're two different things. I'm all for peaceful protest, but we know that most of it wasn't peaceful protesting, but they literally defended them being out doing that, and as if it were medically, somehow got a pass, and it's I don't, and all of that was basically to get Trump out of office.
Yeah, and we had a couple weeks ago we had the BLM people try to take over the Capitol of in Oklahoma City. They tried to take over the Capitol building because we passed a law against rioting. Actually, we didn't pass a law. There were laws in effect. We just codified it, and they weren't happy about that. So,
Well, even the mayor of Portland says he wants to take control of the city back. Well, you let that dog out of the cage, good luck.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like who let the dog out.
Yeah.
That was it. You know. And
Well,
I don't know how they're going.
Oregon, they're getting a congressional seat. You hear about that?
How does that happen?
I think it's those idiot Californians that are moving up there.
Move up there. Yeah.
Right.
California is losing 2 seats. Colorado gained a seat. I think Texas is getting 2 seats. Florida is getting a seat.
Right. We're losing.
I think 5 of the 7 states that are gaining seats are red states.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I guess the thing about Oregon is it's so beautiful once you get outside of, Portland.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and Southern Oregon would just assume secede from the rest of the state. Northern California and Southern Oregon, they've been wanting to merge and make a 51st state. It'd be a red state,
Right.
If they could. But
would be Corrigan,
yeah, there you go.
or would it be?
Sorry, Chris. He says,
California?
Chris says he's from California.
Yeah,
Well,
that's right.
well,
He's
My condolences, Chris. And I'm
As
from
we
New York
like
State,
to-
so it's just as bad, man.
As we like to say here in the South, bless your heart.
yeah, bless your heart.
That's a phrase that covers so many things.
Right. It can be said it can mean something totally positive and something totally condescending.
Yeah, and of course there's like Tennessee 74. Bless your pea-picking little heart. Those of you who know who Tennessee 74 is.
In Colorado, we have a committee that is deciding what our congressional and state assembly maps are going to look like. We had a vote on the election last November that says where before it used to be it was divided. You had I think X amount of seats for Republicans and X amount of seats for a Democrat. And then the governor gets to decide who was on that tie-breaking seat. So since it was Democrats for the last 100 years here, it seems like. So the Democrats have been running the show. But here's the kicker. The new commission is divided up into 3 groups. 1/3 Democrat, 1/3 Republican, and 1/3 unaffiliated. The downside to the unaffiliates, they tend to vote Democrat. And a lot of, now we're finding out a lot of people that are on that committee are big donors to the Democrat Party. So I'm like going, so what changed? Nothing. Then when before we had this commission, when the Republicans were in power, the Democrats would sue. It would go to the state Supreme Court, which, by the way, is controlled by Democrats, would end up picking the Democrat map. So I'll be surprised if it doesn't go the Democrats' way, because they're supposed to make it as competitive as possible. So here's the downside to that. Whenever you make a district competitive, libertarians will screw it up. Because what they'll do is they'll run candidates in those districts and they'll peel off enough Republican votes to hand the district to the Democrats. I mean, even Lloyd's dogs agree.
I thought that was a committee meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to offend a whole crapload of people right here in a heartbeat. But my
Do it.
opinion of the libertarians is they are the transgender of politics.
Mhm.
They can't make up their mind what the hell they want to be. Sorry to all of you people out there. That was meant in jest, but I look at libertarians as the transgenders of American politics.
Yep, that's true. That's true. But here in Colorado, the Libertarian Party has been infiltrated with Democrats because the Democrats, they all know what's going to happen if a Libertarian runs in a competitive district. So
Just split
they
them
have
up.
somebody who used to be a Democrat change their party affiliation, and what will happen? I've seen several candidates every 2 years. They're running again for either state house or state senate. So, I mean, these people are basically grifters. They're raising money and they're hardly spending any money on their campaign. So they're just taking that money and using it for their own personal use. Casper Stockham.
Yeah, the thing is, the label behind the name really doesn't mean that much to me anymore. Like, I'm in a district where our congressional representative is Republican, but in Republican basically by name, because the guy is such a he's a
Yeah.
he went along with Trump for most things, but he was one of the 10 who voted for impeachment. And I wrote his office and said, "You're never going to get a nickel out of me," and I'll probably have to vote for him again though next year, if only to try and keep that seat out of a Democrat's hand, because it really matters this coming time. But it's like the labels just don't mean much anymore. It's like look at you got like Manchin, who's a Democrat. He's the one person who's making a little bit of sense, right? Isn't he the one who's kind of against DC statehood and things like that?
Yeah.
So
we had a Democrat congresswoman here down in the southeast corner of Oklahoma's area called Little Dixie. And she, they swap back and forth between Democrats, Republicans, but they're almost always conservatives or moderates. They're usually just center or slightly right of center. Well, she voted for impeachment, and she was told, she had a town hall meeting, and she was told, don't vote for it. You will lose your job. And the people were writing her. They were calling her and said, you will be out of office. She voted. They told her, that's it. You're out of office. And by God, she was. And she lost. They had a no-name Republican who had a conservative record, but in the state house come up and just stomp her into the ground, and because, she voted for the impeachment, and her constituents, told her, don't go down that road, that you're not representing us,
right.
Because we have what's called the old blue dog Democrats here, and they tend to, but that area down there, we got rid of the one that voted for impeachment, and I think we're going to be getting rid of a lot of people here, not here in Oklahoma, but we're going to be getting rid of a lot of people, I think, in the House in another year and a half.
Yeah.
I just heard on the radio that if 97 more New Yorkers would have answered the census, they wouldn't have lost a seat. it would have been Minnesota that would have lost the seat.
I heard it was actually like closer to like 86, I think is what the governor said.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
Yeah.
people are fleeing this state like crazy, so I'm
Right.
not surprised we're losing the seat.
Yeah.
We deserve to lose the seat, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever the numbers, because if you know they were talking about impeaching Cuomo with all this stuff going on, that talk has kind of died down, except for the extent that de Blasio, the mayor of New York, loves he keeps saying Cuomo's got to go, but he's got to go too. He's a commie, literal communist. But as long as Cuomo's there, he can deflect and criticize Cuomo. So I just hope the people of New York State remember this stuff next year. I'm afraid they won't, and he'll just get reelected again, and then he'll be, you know, untouchable. You know, if he can get away with the incompetence of the whole nursing home scandal with the COVID, and then all these allegations of sexual, you know, assault and harassment. It's like, you know, what more does he have to do to get thrown out? You know, and so hopefully, there's no way I'm voting for him. That's for sure. I never did. But
Right.
Yeah, that's the sad thing about we as Americans is we tend to overlook a lot. You know, we tend to forget from one. I mean, we only have to. You know, we have an election every 2 years. You'd think we could remember. I mean, how many? Look at 9/11. It's getting to where, you know, it's just a that's another. What is it? 9/11's about? You know,
right.
because, you know, we forgot. You know,
Might as well be Pearl Harbor.
I think we remember Pearl Harbor more than we do 9/11 right at the moment. You know, and maybe not in New York, but the rest of the country.
Right.
You know, it's just like Anzac Day, which is an Australian holiday.
Right.
It's their, you know, it's they barely had celebrations in most of the places. And I know when I first started getting to know the Aussies down there, my friends down there, man, Anzac was a big thing. But over probably the last 5 years, 6 years, I've heard less and less about it. You know, I used to be able to tell you exactly when Anzac Day was, but not anymore. You know, I know it was just a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But,
now, is that kind of I'm not familiar with it. What is that?
That's their
that's where they
Veterans Day, Armistice Day, the Australia New Zealand Army Corps, I think is what it stands for.
Yeah, it goes back to the Battle of Gallipoli.
Gallipoli.
World War One.
Yeah.
That was a
in World War I, huge loss
for the British
Anzacs.
Empire. And whose idea was that? Winston Churchill.
Yeah. Well, the thing is it wouldn't have been as bad if the British had done their part, but they didn't. They sent the Australian New Zealand troops in there, unsupported. You know, they said this is your job, but they were supposed to have support, and they didn't have the support, and it turned out to be a huge massacre. You know,
well, it was just
a Charlie
poorly
Fox
planned, poorly executed. Yeah, and just
they underestimated the Turks. You know,
Yep.
They totally underestimated their support for and by Germany, and they just there was a lot there.
And there was a lot of, plus the Turks had the high ground.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to battle when your enemy has the high ground. So, unless you have airplanes, which were brand new in World War I, tanks were new. And I don't know if you know this, but over on the Western Front there, it basically just trench warfare.
Oh, yeah.
There were something like millions and millions of rounds of artillery fired. 20% were duds.
No.
Yeah.
So right along, the line there, I forgot what it was called, the Schlefern line, and there are still millions of unexploded shells. It's really a no man's land, because not only do you have unexploded shells, but it's a chemical, wasteland because of the mustard gas, the chlorine
nerve
gas, and
yeah.
phosgene, and oh man, I mean, there are still canisters that litter that whole area.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing, all that stuff's been dumped in the ocean now, so we don't have to worry about it. Well, they had to pump it out of that big crevice out there in Denver where they'd pumped it all into, and they had to pump it back out and then haul it to the ocean.
All right. Yeah. Well, before we go into our last category, I was going to announce the states that lost seats are New York, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and West Virginia. So those are the states that lost seats. I believe Florida. Most of the seats are down the southeast.
Yeah, the south.
And Colorado's gaining a seat, and Oregon is gaining a seat.
Right.
Washington, the state of Washington, is staying the same. So it'll be interesting to see how the congressional maps will pan out in the future. Texas is, I think, gaining 2 seats, I believe.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. I just hope all the population that is heading into these states, mostly red states, don't bring blue state thinking with them. That's a big fear of mine. I know
some of the talk coming from this part of the country is that Texas is starting to get a little bit of a purple haze going on down there.
Right.
So, it's getting kind of...
Right.
From what I understand about Colorado is a lot of the blue states that have moved here, their thinking is, they want to raise taxes, but on other people, not themselves. And then it ends up biting them in the butt in the long run, because everything gets expensive, and they get up and move out of the state.
Right.
Isn't that the definition of insanity, to keep repeating the same thing, expecting a different outcome?
Right.
I think that's the definition of insanity. And the Democrats have definitely got that.
The people who do it, though, the ones who vote that way, the Hollywood elite and this, that, and the other, and the mega rich, they're not the ones that end up paying the taxes.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's the blue collar industry that leaves the state. That's why North Carolina, from New York to North Carolina, I mean, that was like a railroad of industry for the last 20, 30 years, and to the point where North Carolina really isn't as red as it used to be, And so many Northeasterners have gone down there specifically because their job went down there, so they had to follow. My brother's one of them.
Well, you had a lot of furniture building down there now, and now it's, IKEA and China, which IKEA gets all their crap from China anyway. So, North Carolina, the Carolina furniture factories are dying out if they haven't already.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is.
I don't know if you've seen this in your states, but here in Colorado, the price of lumber is out of sight.
Yeah.
I mean,
my son was doing some construction work over at his place, and he told me the cost of a piece of plywood. I'm going, what?
Yeah. It used to cost a couple bucks. Now it's more like $8 or $10. Or,
Well, depending
Yeah.
on what it is, some of it,
Yeah.
it's $75 a sheet for certain types of plywood.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
And
Right. It's essentially tripled here for,
Yeah.
whether it's 2x4s or plywood.
right.
And now you got builders who've, signed, contracts 2 years ago to build houses who are stuck with the price they signed for then. And they have to
Right.
buy material, though, at today's rate
Yeah.
and pay today's fuel rates, too, which is
Mhm.
another thing. Price
Yeah.
of gas is going
Oh,
up
no.
partially because of opening, but partially because of, the cutting off the pipeline and the whole political scene.
Right.
Not only that, a lot of the mills have been closed because of COVID. And then when they went to reopen, they can't get enough people because nobody wants to go back to work because they're getting more money off the unemployment than they
Right.
do working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's by
gas
design.
prices.
I think that's by design.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
ask me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our gas prices actually started dropping here in Oklahoma this last week.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, still, we were at one point, 99 cents a gallon. And then it got up and it leveled out it stayed at about $1.59 for the longest time. And then it went up, and as soon as the election was over, it just jumped up. It was up to $1.79 or $2.79 a gallon here a month ago, between $2.69, $2.79. It's now, I think I paid $2.49 a gallon just the other day. So it's dropped almost anywhere from 20, 30 cents. I don't know what the deal is, but it's, of course, it'll drop and then it'll go right back up because in about another week, they're going to shut everything down and switch over to the summer blend, just so we can keep all those tree huggers happy and keep them from coughing and choking. Build a refinery in your own damn state and leave my fuel alone. You want it to be special blend with fart fragrance in it or whatever it is you want to put in it. You do it in your state. Just leave our crap alone.
They put
Why
Aunt
should I have to
Jemima
pay?
in the tank.
Do what?
Put Aunt Jemima in the tank.
There you go.
There you go.
Those old bottles.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
All
And that's
right.
another
Speaking
thing
of
with the
Aunt
fuel.
Jemima, how about those Academy Awards?
Oh God!
I mean,
What
boy,
Academy Awards?
Yeah, that's right. 2 years ago, I think the ratings was let's see, it was 30-something million people watching.
Right.
This last weekend, it was down to 9 million people watching.
They dropped 50% from last year, which was 50% from the year before. It's like, how low do you got to go? But that's the other thing. A lot of people have made the comment because who won Best Actor?
I can't remember.
Silence of the Lambs.
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, because he wasn't there. Well, first off, it's 4:00 in the morning. They wouldn't let him do a pre-recorded thing because they already knew the fix was in. Is going to be the guy who played the Black Panther who passed away.
Right.
And then when he didn't win, it was like, oh, wait, Anthony Hopkins? Really? Oh, that's too late, and he chose not to show up. Well, he wasn't going to, they would let him, if he wanted to travel from his home to London and record something there. Yeah, we got Zoom. We've got, there's no reason for them not to have that, But who wants the old white guy to give a comment? We're giving it to the young dead black guy.
Yeah.
Oh, and plus you don't have the comedic MC that we used to have, because
Yeah.
the Academy is so woke because they're afraid they might find some comic that told a dirty joke 20 years ago.
Right.
So, and that's why you don't have Kevin Hart or Ricky Gervais, who just
Yeah, it's like Ricky
tore him
Gervais.
up last time.
Was it something I said?
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew when he said that stuff last time he wasn't going to get invited back, but
We already knew
he got a
anyways.
lot of
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
But I mean, the
Yep.
Academy Awards I've never been an award show person anyway, whether it's the Emmys or the Academy Awards or the La Caja Fall, whatever the frick, it is that is going on there. They've all been stupid, self-indulgent things to me, but I'm glad they're taking a hit with that show, because
Oh, yeah.
money eventually talks. But and the movies they make, there's maybe one decent movie a year as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not into the Marvel stuff.
Oh, well, I am. So, but
Right.
but that's
Right,
not
nothing
what he
against-
was winning for. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing. He wasn't winning for them. It had nothing to do with Marvel. You know,
Right.
it had to do with another show he did for, and actually, it wasn't even. I don't even know if it was a theater release or what it was. You know,
Yeah.
but I mean, when you get like Netflix and stuff coming in and getting their rewards in there, it's like, yeah, it was a waste. And
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the actor, the Bozeman, I thought he did a great job playing the part of the Marvel characters. But yeah, Mike, we do.
Everyone,
But you
they're
know,
here for the candy, Art.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You need to get them to sponsor this channel too.
Oh, there you go.
You know what you need to do is you need to copy their instruments thing. Ask Rick if it's okay, and when you give it away, make sure you have a little banner. So you can pop it up
That's
there,
an
and
idea.
you just and sponsored by and
Well, Chris, all you have
yeah.
to do is go to their website, instrumscandies.com, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah,
order candy there, and it's not just toffee. They have cream fills. They have oh god, their turtles are real good. I think that was one of the prizes that I gave away. It was the pecan turtles. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those are good.
I just like their
What's
I like
the
their
name
almond
again?
coffee.
No. But yeah, I mean, it's funny how we all have every state and really every city has something that's the local thing, and
Yeah.
certain
Yeah, that's-
bakeries or certain meats or whatever.
That's right. Use the code ART20 for 20. Well, I'll run that by the big guy next time I talk to him, Mike.
Right.
I'm sure
Well,
he'll.
just
But
tell
he
him there's a
was
guy in
nice
Colorado
enough to
that-
come on my other show. A month or two ago? That was pretty cool.
There you go.
Yeah. And I
There's
saw
the link.
the pictures you put up, Art. They have a ranch where you go fishing from
Yeah.
time to time. Yeah.
hmm
Well, that's
I'm
nice.
hoping to go down there just before Memorial Day weekend,
Mhm.
because I'm going from the ranch and then I go straight west to Pueblo, and I'm going to do some fishing at Pueblo Reservoir there.
Hmm.
Yep. Oh, there
Yeah, that stuff's
there
expensive.
You go.
I definitely need a discount code from him because I want to buy a 2-pound box, but it's $50.
Yeah.
Right.
hmm
But God, is it good?
Right.
Yeah, it is. It's
That's yeah.
I'm afraid to look at their website. I might get the credit card out.
I guarantee you, if you've
every
tried
time there's a holiday, they've got some special treats. Like they just had Easter. Oh, I bought one of their peanut butter filled eggs. Oh God, was that good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they have the smaller eggs that are about almost the size of the Cadbury eggs that are. They have different fillings. They have caramel. They have kind of like mint patty, and I think they have coconut and all kinds of neat stuff.
Chris wanted to know if it was the milk chocolate that you sent
Milk
to him.
chocolate. I'm
Is that the one
not
you sent to him?
sure because here's what I do is I buy both of them. I get the dark chocolate and the milk chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll stick with the Hershey bars. They're good enough for me.
Well, if you would like almond toffee or English toffee, which is what this is, Heath bars work good.
I don't like Heath bars. I mean, you'll break a teeth on those.
You can break a teeth on the instant toffee too. I can guarantee
these are a lot
it.
softer than the Heath bars.
Well, normally I get them and they end up in a freezer.
Yeah.
I've never had those Heath bars. How can you break a teeth? They're only about that thick, whereas the Intrams is like this thick. So you bite in the bulk like I do. It's a half-inch.
It's all those cavities we got in our younger lives from eating all this stuff. Our teeth are fragile like fine china.
Yeah, I'm missing about half mine.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, I got plenty of. I chew with very deliberately because I've got 3 crowns in there with 1/4 one planned, and it's like, I should be able to make it through life with my own teeth, but it's like, well, sort of my own teeth. But
every tooth you see is a crown.
Is it really?
Yep, every tooth is a crown. Every I've had to, and they quit doing dentistry stuff. They're supposed to send me out. I broke a tooth when I fell. Hit my head and came down hard and snapped the tooth off. And fortunately, it had a root canal, so it doesn't hurt.
Right.
I mean, I broke it off right even. It was actually a crown. It pissed me off because it was a gold one. I've lost 2 gold crowns. Good thing is I get to keep the gold.
There you go. That's what I did with my dad when he passed away. I got his gold teeth.
Yeah. But they're supposed to be sending me. They were supposed to. I need to call them and say, hey, it's been about a year now. Do you think I can get this tooth fixed? Because they never called me.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. We've been on the air almost an hour and 15 minutes. So, yeah, we covered a lot of ground today. I think we got up as high as, 5 people today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the weather's getting nicer, and I think people are starting to go out. So
yeah, we're going to start spending time down at the cabin. So I got to start. This next week. I got to see about getting high-speed internet down there at the cabin, so that I can do my show on my laptop down there and do these shows down there. So,
well, I think next weekend, I think Keith from 2K Drones is going to be my host on Artco, because
host
Chuck is going to be up in the Catskills.
Your host or your co-host?
Co-host.
Okay, you said host. I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Where are you going to be?
He's like Johnny Carson. David Brenner will be filling in for him.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, also, I think I'm kind of burnt out on politics a little bit. I'd like to not pay attention for a while, but it's hard not to right now. And but I would love to just let it go for 3, 4, 6 months. But right now things are moving so fast, you have to pay attention.
Yep.
You do. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's I can't keep up. I've got to that point where I just tune most of it out, and I'll hear something like the guy that's taken over Russia's spot.
Dan
Dan
Bongino.
Bongino.
Hey, let's close out this show
Yeah,
and we'll keep on talking.
Yeah.
All right, you guys in the chat, thanks for coming. Chris, thanks for coming. And
See you, Chris. Mike.
Greg, thanks for coming. And we'll catch you all next week. Have a great weekend. God bless.